March the 5th today. Let's have a look what's happening in the used car market, should we? But that's down 4,500 and that's down 4,500. That is the downward pressure. Trust me, if those electric vehicles at the bottom were pieces of coal, the pressure on them would turn them into diamonds. I use the Hilo band daily and it's a godsend for tracking blood pressure trends. 20% off with my link, 12 months free subscription, and I earn £25 for a successful referral. Links in the description below. On AutoTrader, there are 444,357 cars, way down from a few months ago when all the dealers voted with their feet over their plans to introduce Deal Builder. AutoTrader wouldn't back down, and then they did. Used cars, 420,414. Now, that's way down. But you know what isn't way down? Electric cars, which are now over 45,000 vehicles, way outstripping demand. And when vehicles outstrip demand, ICE vehicles are staying about the same because they're being bought. As fast as they come on the market, somebody else is buying them, and it's keeping them level. It's stopping them going over the top of the dam. The dam for electric vehicles is probably about 20,000. They're way over the dam. Everybody down there, downriver, they're all flooded. All the dealers downriver, they're flooded. 45,268 electric cars have gone up nearly 15% in just a couple of months. Sales of electric vehicles aren't keeping up with the market. Just as new sales aren't keeping up with the new car market, used sales aren't keeping up with the used car market. In order to promote sales, in order to give them a bit of a hike, you've then got to make them attractive, and you make them attractive by price. So that means reductions. If you reduce them, it's just again a knock-on effect all the way down line. So here you go. This is me that doesn't understand figures. And I noticed another funny report. Electric cars have gone up. In fact, let me see if I can find it. Used EV values jump 1.4% as car prices rise across the market in February. February continued strong start to the year for used car retail prices. Price rises were across the board and for all fuel types, shows Kazana data. EVs recorded a 1.4% rise. Estates were also very popular. This is on Car Deal and it says, watch our exclusive interview with Darren Martin. I think I'll give it a miss, to be honest. And this is by James Batchelor on March the 4th, yesterday. Used car retail prices climbed in February, with second-hand EVs recording an encouraging rise. Latest data from the recently rebranded Kazana, stupid name, stupid company, released to Car Dealer ahead of official publication, shows that average used retail prices at the benchmark 3-year point jumped by 1.7% or £340. We can make figures do anything, can't we? Price rises were across the board too, with 1-year-old vehicles seeing a 0.7% increase, bollocks, and 5-year-olds experiencing a 1.4% rise. Speaking on Car Dealer Live, automotive consultant Darren Martin said February performed as expected. Did it? Who expected that? I didn't. With demand building on a positive January and pushing dealers to increase prices across much of the market, February did what we expected it to do, because the first 2 months of the year tend to be strong, Martin said in the video posted at the top of this story. January starts off quite well, February gets better, and that's what we saw in the retail market. Well, to be honest, in my experience, when it all kicks off is the first bank holiday weekend when the sun comes out. That's when it kicks off. Not January or February. January or February, people are still getting the credit card bills from Christmas. So that's not what I would expect. In the market that I was in for the last God knows how many years, it's certainly not what I would expect. He added, across all of the age brackets, dealers have been putting some prices up. Not dramatically, but taking advantage of that extra demand. Have they? I think you'll find what they've been trying to do is strategically increase prices of some vehicles so that stupid people and algorithms might just think that this was actually the case, but then the people in the trade think, oh look, they're trying to fool a stupid AI algorithm. It's been a good month for the dealers. One factor behind the strength of 3 and 5-year-old cars is the lingering supply shortage caused by the COVID-19 pandemic. 3 and 5-year ages are quite explainable because that's the COVID years, Martin explained. There's been a shortage of cars registered since 2020. Small point but worth mentioning, how come electric vehicles are going up on Auto Trader if there's a shortage? That's a demonstrable fact. Used EVs are going up on Auto Trader. So if there's a shortage, there is no shortage of electric vehicles. There is a shortage of cars that people want. Let's just put it into plain English. There's been a shortage of cars registered since 2020. So you'd expect those to perform quite well. You would, but electric vehicles are still going down. So they're not performing well. However, one of the more notable developments in February was the performance of used electric vehicles. According to Kazana's data, EV values increased 1.4% on average, making it one of the strongest months for electric cars in recent times after a recent turbulent period. It's not recent, it's current. All fuel types recorded rises too, with hybrids leading the way at 2.3%, you mean petrols. Despite the overall EV increase, Martin warned that the electric vehicle market remains unpredictable. Well, I can predict it. Prices are going down. End of. Go back through all my Twitter feed for the last few years. History proves you're right. Go back through my Twitter feed. I have been right consistently all the time when other people have been trying to make stupid headlines like this, with some models rising while others continue to fall. Some cars are looking good value. Some of them are still dropping, he said. That EV will remains quite complicated. No, they're just going down. For example, the Fiat 500e, Audi e-tron GT and Jaguar I-Pace all saw price increases during February. No, they didn't. While models such as the Nissan Ariya, BMW iX1 and Polestar 2 fell in value. Even so, Martin believes the growing stability in EV pricing could encourage dealers to treat electric vehicles more like other stock on their forecourts. They won't treat them like other stock on the forecourts, and if they've got any sense, they'll park them away from all the good stock. So if they do set on fire, at least they'll have some ICE vehicles that they can actually sell to customers, and then the insurance company can pick up the tab for the EVs. There definitely feels a lot more stability in the EV world, he said. Dealers are maybe just treating EVs on their forecourt like they do other vehicles. They are not. Trust me, they are not. However, he urged retailers not to overcommit to electric stock. There's no chance of that. My advice would be don't overinvest in EVs. A good mixture of all the fuel types remains a good thing to do. As for body styles, Estate saw a strong 3.4% price jump, followed by saloons at 2.5% and MPVs at 2%. Those more niche body types are currently suffering from low supply, allowing dealers to maximise margins, said Martin. Looking ahead to March, Martin did warn that the market might be affected by the current conflict in the Middle East, which has already had an effect on petrol prices. When petrol prices go up, more people start considering EVs, he said. And I think when more people are considering EVs and they see the prices they can get them at, then it may be a switch that people make. We find that once people make that switch to EV, not many people go back. Can you show me your findings for that? Can you show me where the surveys come from? Can you show me one that's not a partisan survey and hasn't got something to gain? Can you show me an impartial one? Can you show me a survey of the people who have had an EV and have gone back to ICE vehicles? And why? Because surveying people who have got an EV at the present time is not really a good thing to do. It's stupid. Your results, you may as well just chuck them in the bin. And you know that. Okay, so after listening to all that garbage, let's have a look at Auto Trader. We go to Auto Trader, used cars. 420,420 cars. Funny number, isn't it? We go to electric cars. Electric cars, 45,246. Electric cars now make up over 10% of the used vehicles available on Auto Trader, but they only make up 3.5% of actual sales. So to my way of thinking, that's 6.5% of electric vehicles more than's actually needed. Let's have a look. We'll go into the electric vehicles. Then what we'll do, we'll go to most recent, because the relevant search is stupid, and we'll go to year 2026. 2026. There's 599 2026 vehicles. And we're looking at the most recent. Well, would you look at that? 2026. 26 plate. 5 days into the new registration. 26 plate. 26, 26, 26, 26. 26, 26, 26. All those. Look, we're going down. There's still 26 plate. And there's still Vauxhall Mockers there, Peugeots, all 26 plates. They will be piling pressure on the ones that were registered in February, the ones that were registered in January, and all those idiots that registered EVs in December. So they're last year's vehicles and the old registrations, and then we go to August, where they registered them then. So those were the year before last year's registrations and last year, and so on. And the dominoes go down, and the price decreases go all the way down. Look at that. Save £13,885. Let's just look when these were registered. So we'll go back to the top. We'll go to Arnold Clark. Description, read full description. 2nd of the 3rd, 2026. Why would you register that? It's going to be a busy month, or should be a busy month for the new registration. Why would you register that vehicle and make it into a one-owner vehicle already? Why would you do it on the 2nd of the new month, of the best month for sales, for actual sales, the best month? You pre-register it. Why would you do that? Back to results. Let's just see. The one next to it is that's Maserati. That's a 2026 75. We'll have a look when that was registered. I mean, why would you pre-register a Maserati? That's just ridiculous. 31st of the 12th, 2025. They've pre-registered that. That's a New Year's EV. So that is the old reg, and it's last year's too. I mean, I don't think Maseratis have a great reputation for holding the price. I love them, don't get me wrong, I love them. But they're not the best for holding the price. So they have just bombed. That will have just lost a fortune. Here we go, look at this. 2026, 26 plate, nearly new. What's the giveaway there? Look, delivery miles, other colours. We'll see when that was registered. Second of the 3rd, 2026, other colours. That's one vehicle, but there's plenty of them. 2026, 26, 26, 26, 26, 26, 26, 26, 26, 26, 26, 26, 26, 26, 26, 26, 26, 26, 26, 26, 26, 26, 26, 26, 26. There's a 75 there. Let's have a look when this was registered. (24th of the 2nd, 2026). So they've registered that just over a week ago before the new letter. There's only one way that electric vehicle prices are going, and that's down. One thing I will show you is to say, honestly, I do try and be honest. Whatever you think of me, I can't lie. I noticed our Simmons is down to 11 cars. I always use his, and the reason I use his, I hope you don't think I'm picking on him, because I actually use his examples because I would say that looking as an outsider, I don't know him, looking as an outsider at his photographs and the way he describes things and the way he does YouTube and so on, then he's probably one of the better dealers. So here we go. I think he had about 20 vehicles the other week, and he's down to 11. So we've had a discussion in the past where he said he couldn't keep up with things, and he was giving over book for vehicles. So in this instance, then perhaps he is. But even so, the ones that he doesn't shift quickly, this is the danger. Down £1,000, down £400, down £2,500, down £400, down 570. Can you see any of a good dealer with proper photographs, proper descriptions, has a YouTube channel with, I don't know how many viewers he's got, but obviously does well? Wouldn't you think if vehicles were going up and he was down to 11 vehicles, if electric vehicles were going up, he would have put his vehicles up, and he's not. That tells you that that report was a load of crap. In my opinion, I'm thinking he knows best. That's what I think. We'll go back to Auto Trader. We'll knock off the year there, so any year, and I'm going to knock off, I'll put the mileage in. We'll put the mileage to 100 miles. It's 1,782, search. I'll tell you what, we'll go to Peugeot, because there's lots of Peugeots that have been registered. So we'll go to Peugeot. How many Peugeots? Peugeots, there's 104 there. Search 104 Peugeots. Here we go. So there's all the ones that have just been registered. Let's go down to the bottom. 7th of the 2nd, 2025. They haven't sold it yet. Down 15,240. What one's this? That's a 2025 with 14 miles on. They've dropped that by £2,000. Down 660, down 4,505. That's a 2025 on a 25 plate. So as you can see there, minus 3795, that's a 2025 25, 2025 25, down 4,300, down 6,600. Save £14,500, but that's down 4,500, and that's down 4,500. That is the downward pressure. Trust me, if those electric vehicles at the bottom were pieces of coal, the pressure on them would turn them into diamonds. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video. Bye bye.